This video will demonstrate the features and several uses for the Household Income and Expense Detail Report. Before we explore the features of this report, I want to point out we will be using information maintained in the Income Limits file to report income eligibility. The Income Limits file is found on the Tools Configuration menu, as I'll demonstrate. Here we can select an appropriate income level category, and then here we should have a current effective date for our income limits, and I'm going to click the Show Income Limits button to give you an example of what it looks like. It's important that you keep the income limits file up to date, entering a new effective date and rates when they're published by HUD. The Household Income and Expense Detail Report is found on the Applicant menu. It's listed here under Reports. We'll begin by selecting a program and projects that we want to report on. I'm going to go ahead and select low rent and all of the projects. If I simply want a report reflecting each household's income level, I could uncheck all of these boxes. I'm going to go ahead and do that this very first time through. And let's go ahead and generate the output and see what it looks like. We'll just preview and make it full screen. So here we can see we're representing the who's the head of household, the income, number of people in the family, their income eligibility, and the amount of any annual expenses listed in their expenses screen. Okay, so I'm going to close the screen, and we're going to go back, take a look at our capabilities, and we're going to expand some information onto this report. So this time I'm going to go ahead and select to show the household members, and let's just go ahead and generate the output again. Again, we'll preview. So now this time you can see we've added the household members, their relationship, as well as their age to the report. The rest of the report remains the same. Let's go ahead and close the report again. And let's expand it a little bit more. This time let's go ahead and tell it to also show the income. Now when I do that, I get this additional box below that gives me the ability to filter down to reporting only households with certain types of income. That's not what I want to do. In this case, I just want all sources of income, so I'm not going to use that filter. So let's go ahead and generate the output again. Okay, so now you can see we've added some additional detail to what we had before. Now we've got their income, the amount of the income, as well as the type of income, and any descriptions associated with the income that was entered into the income screen. In addition, the sum of the incomes over on the to the right of the person's name, the sum of those income records equals the annual income for the family over on the left part of the report. If I go to the last page of the report at this point, we can see that we have 7 pages of information right now. I'm going to go ahead and close this report again. And now in this next example, I'm going to go ahead and use one of these filters for a type of income. Let's say I wanted to filter down to just people who have Social Security income on the report. So I'm going to go ahead and select Social Security, and again I'll go ahead and generate the report with all the previous settings. So now over on the right we can see that all of the income records are reporting Social Security. And if we scroll a little further down, we might see some additional types of income, but what we're looking for are only records that have Social Security. They may have other types of income as well, but we told specifically find people that have Social Security income. Now, the income, the annual income on the report still is reflecting the total annual income for the family, but we can specifically see how much of it is coming from Social Security. Here, if we go to the end of this report, this time we can see instead of 7 pages of information, we're now filtered down to just 2 pages of information. So let's go ahead and close this report again. The Show Expenses filter works the same as the Show Income filter. The filter above that, where it says Show Only if both income and expenses found, that is only applicable if you've already selected to show both income and expenses. Then you can filter down to only those records that have both income and expenses. Now let's use one more example here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to unselect our filter for Social Security. And this time, let's go ahead and generate the output again. But this time I'm going to go ahead and tell it I want to send this information to Excel as if I want to do some additional analysis of the data. So I'm going to go ahead and select Excel data file. Here are the fields that I can select to send to Excel. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to include the tenant, the account number, the number of people in the family, the total income, and their income level that they qualify under. And I'm going to skip these last keys that pertain to data. And I'm going to go ahead and choose Continue. And the first time through, I'm going to ignore the filter here and just go ahead and save and preview this report. So I'm going to go ahead and accept the default name that's coming up for the report. And let's move this over to this monitor. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and expand my column for the tenant name, make it a little bit wider. Same thing for the income level that they're qualifying under. And let's use an example of sorting this report detail by the income level. So I'm going to go ahead and select my records. I'm going to go up to the data ribbon and select sort. And I'm going to tell it to sort on column E, which is the income level. Okay, so now we've got it sorted on the label associated with the income level. So we got extremely low, low, over income, and very low. This is, keep in mind that it's sorting not on the categories themselves, but the labels associated with them alphabetically. That's why you see them represented as such. Let's give you another example. Suppose I wanted to know what the average was for my extremely low income people. I could come in here and select, let's select the adjacent field, and let's use the average. We'll go ahead and select our range. And press enter. So here we can see our average income for the extremely low income group is $8,604. So just an example of what you might do in Excel, with the information. Now I'm going to go ahead and close out of Excel. We're not going to worry about saving our information here. And this time I'm going to apply one filter to the information before sending it to Excel. So this time I'm going to use an example of, suppose I only want my over income people sent to Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and select the income level, and then I have to put a starting value and ending value in here, and it needs to be something that's reflected on the report. And if you remember in the previous screen when we looked at the report, over income was a specific text associated with one of the income levels. So I'm going to type that in. It's not case sensitive, but it does have to be an exact match text-wise, just not case sensitive. So let's go ahead and save and preview. And let's go ahead and overwrite the previous report. So here we can see the report, and this time we are filtered down to just the families that were over income. So again, just one more example of how we might use this particular report to find specific information.